Welcome back to Crosscut. I'm your co-host, Josh.
I'm your other co-host, Chris.
So we are continuing this Robert Rodriguez trend as we go back to school with Rebel Without a Crew, the Robert Rodriguez Film School, episodes 4 through 6. So we're picking it up from where we left off a couple weeks ago. Welcome back for those that are joining in. If you haven't seen it yet, if you haven't seen the first episode, maybe go check it out first so you maybe get caught up a bit and come back to us after that.
You might even want to binge watch it if you want to, because it is so worth it.
It's an easy binge, man. I mean, 6 episodes, 20-ish minutes each.
Yeah,
The only downside, as you texted me earlier, was those damn ads.
Yes,
I will say this. I think because I've actually I watched it twice each time.
McDaniels, the only place you can get a triple beef burger deluxe and a tall patty shake for only $23.41. McDaniels, where the nuggets are almost always made of chicken. Now get 11 for 59 cents and a side of tartacue sauce. McDaniels.
I watched it both on Freevee and on Tubi. I think Tubi's a little bit better with the ads. So
really?
For anybody that's watching that is thinking of checking it out, try Tubi before you do Freevee. I think there's a better chance that the ads won't be as bad. Because yeah, on Freevee they are pretty aggressive.
I know this, like the ads are like 3 ads in a row, and it's like every 5 minutes.
Yeah. So Tubi's not.
I remember
that
Tubi
bad.
has it's more spread out, so
Yeah.
should have done that.
Anyways, so today we're covering the rest of the show, which will be episode 4, Fighting and Lighting, episode 5, Editing and Sound, and episode 6, Wrapping Up and Looking Back. Well, Chris, I've already seen the show. You are now officially finished. What did you think?
Picking up where I left off on the sound and editing, it's very interesting to see how he likes to edit right after shooting, pretty much just like he said, it's when it's fresh in his mind to get it already put together. I do like he gives himself like cues to like wave his hand in front of the camera, like that's the take he really likes, instead of going through each take. I don't know why didn't I think of doing something like that before. As far as you know, I told you before that I shot some more of my scenes for my movie over the weekend, and I did several takes. So I wish I could have done something like the waving the hand in front of the camera.
You look like John Cena doing that, dude.
Oh God! Insert clip of John Cena.
Yeah, it's cool because, like, obviously on a big movie set, you would tell the script supervisor, you know, in the old days, circle that, and that would let them know in editing that's a good take. But because he's doing it all himself and he knows he's going to be the one looking at the footage, he just gives himself like a little visual cue just to be like, okay, that take, I like that. So yeah, it's just like little things like that you learn from, and for him, just it works for him. He's been doing this for so long. I mean, when you watch him sitting at that editing bay, like he just looks so comfortable. Like he has been doing this for so long.
That's he even says that's his like favorite spot to be in the editing room.
Because
like,
you can also it's nice to get away sometimes and just you're on your own, but you're just piecing everything together. Yeah, I've been there myself, where I'm like, my favorite thing is when you start putting everything together.
I have like a love and hate with editing. Like I love it when it's something that I'm passionate about or excited to actually be working on. But if I'm forced to edit something just for a job, like I hate this. I don't want to do this. I don't want to be doing the same thing over and over and over again. That's my love and hate thing, you know? For example, I'm editing my short film. When I edit Crosscut, I'm actually having fun too, because it's putting everything together, even though it's easier on Crosscut for us. Still, I have fun putting all the different effects in, the sounds, you know, different clips. After a while, maybe if you're doing that as like full-time job, I can see it getting a toll on you, but it's different. You know, it's different how you do the editing.
So anyways, going back to the show. So episode 4 is the first one we start off with. It's called Fighting and Lighting. So the majority of this episode focuses on how Robert Rodriguez shows us how he does a fight scene, and then it shows us how he actually does a day for night scene, which I thought was actually really, really cool. I liked how he showed that. So the fight scene, we meet a character called Spoiler who likes to spoil movies.
Kevin Spacey, yeah, he's Kaiser Soze. Bruce Willis is dead and a ghost in the Sixth Sense.
literally as he's getting punched in the face. Which
By
when we
the
watch,
guy.
so when we watch the movie next week, you'll or 2 weeks from now, you'll see full context of that. But I just like the way he show, and he does this in the other show as well. There's actually a scene where the one filmmaker's they're trying to like do like a scene where the character kicks another character and they don't do it right, and the guy actually ends up getting kicked. And Robert Rodriguez just happens to be on set that day, and he's like, let me show you something, you know, because his biggest thing is safety. Like
Right.
He really during the fight scene, he's like, you know, we're gonna do different angles, but I only want you have to do it one time where we're doing the fight. Like I don't want you to have to do it every time because I don't want there to be a mistake where somebody ends up getting hit. So you'll see like he does the one shot of the guy gets up and runs at the guy, but it cuts right before he gets to him because he doesn't want to have to, you know, have something happen. So I just thought that was really cool. It was really interesting how he would show like a fight scene. You can clearly see it's just so interesting how you see the guy punching him, but it's not even close. Like it's probably a good foot off to the side of where his hand is going. But when you watch it, it looks real, you know? You just can't
all those
tell.
camera angles, you gotta like really cheat that just perfectly
And
enough
he
that it
really
does look real.
and he really notates just how important sound design is with all this stuff.
Yeah.
So I love the part where I think it's episode 5. He's showing the scene with his son putting the knife back into his holster.
Oh yeah, that was pretty cool.
But he does it. He shoots it normal, but then he does it in reverse.
Mhm.
So in the actual scene, it looks like he's really quickly just putting this knife right up against his holster, which is by his chest. Now, obviously, you can't do that because you can
In real life,
accidentally
you're actually
stab
stabbing yourself.
Yeah, you might stab yourself. So it's just a cool little trick for him to be like, all right, hey, we're just gonna shoot it as you taking it out. He even does like a little thing where he like zooms out at the end so that he knows in editing, like when it's reversed, it's gonna look like it zooms in really quick. So I thought that was really cool. So yeah, editing and sound, episode 5. He gets to show us some fun tricks. As far as I mean, I really just like how he does like sound design with a lot of stuff. He just kind of will layer on different sounds, and it really just sells the idea. The one stunt where the guy is supposed to be coming in from the roof or jumping in from the ceiling, and it's just clearly like the guy's just standing there. He just does like a little like jump up, and they just cheat it to make it look like he just came in, and he has his son play the character. So it's literally like 2 quick shots of different people as the same character. It all blends in so well to make it seem like it's one continuous look, you know. And then we get to the final episode, which is called Wrapping Up and Looking Back. We get to find out his special casting, which is Carlos Gallardo. So
25
cool
years later,
when you see him on set and they're talking about like, you know, the differences between making a 16 millimeter film in 1992 and
like
making a digital feature film in 2017. And he's like, Robert Rodriguez is explaining all these like little lights. He's like, look at this little light right here. This thing, I can change the color temperature. I can make it night. I can make it day. And it's so powerful. And 25 years ago, we're using like Home Depot clamp lights. It's actually funny if you really, really pay attention just to some of the props some of the characters are using. The main guy in that scene where they're running, him and the girl, and the guy comes down from the ceiling, he's holding this like big spike looking thing. That's from Dusk Till Dawn.
Oh, okay.
Yeah.
And
I forgot
the pillbox from Sin City.
Yeah, like I told you, like he's got his warehouse full of just he keeps everything. He's got his chairs, like his little like doctor chair. Yeah, there's a lot of references.
Maker Studios.
Actually, it would have been cool just to have been like an extra in this movie. Like, I was wondering because they break down the budget at the end, and they ended up spending like $5,800, which you got to wonder, like, was it really? Well, he has a lot of stuff too that helps.
Yeah, that was. I kept thinking about that too. Like, he has a bunch of stuff that you would still need at least $7,000 to actually get that equipment, those props, those like
even the cars you see at the end. It's just like, he has a lot of he had a lot of stuff. He had resources that he could just use, whereas most people don't. But it still plays into the idea of use what you
Use
got
what you got.
sometimes. But going back to the cast part, so I'm assuming most of the speaking role probably got paid something for the days that they worked. But for the extras, I was thinking they probably didn't get paid, so it was more like a volunteer thing. They probably put out like a casting notice, like, does anybody want to just be an extra in a Robert Rodriguez movie? It's unpaid, but you get to hang out on set. And I mean, talk about like, if you're like one of those like young kids that were one of the extras, one of the patients, I mean, talk about just getting like this really like close experience with this famous filmmaker. You just sitting there and it's just so like personal.
Yeah, it would be.
Whereas if you're an extra on like a big movie set, the director won't even talk to you.
But this is different, yeah, because it's so close together that it really is no crew. He's going to be involved with everybody, which I like that. I like having like a small crew.
I just thought it'd be cool. It's just like, if you ever wanted to like visit there, maybe you're like a local from that area and you always wanted to like check it out and finally had that opportunity just to be like, hey, you want to be an extra in this movie? It's not paid, but all right, screw it. I'll do it if I can go hang out Troublemaker Studios and see the master Robert Rodriguez at work.
I mean, that's cool.
So Chris, how did this inspire you to make your movie?
All the things he does talk about really like trying to inspire filmmakers to actually just go and do it. And the last message that he says at the very end, that a lot of filmmakers doubt themselves a lot and that they
kind of find excuses to not
find excuses.
I wanted artists everywhere to see that they don't need to wait for a bunch of resources in order to get out there and start creating.
That got to me because just 2 days ago, I was willing to say, fucking, I don't want to do this anymore. Nothing was happening according to plan because I was meant to shoot on Saturday and a bunch of stuff happened. Everyone said no. I was like, you know what? I don't want to do this anymore.
It's deflating, right?
When it is.
You're trying to get something going and it's not working.
Yeah. And then Julie just said, why don't you just speak to them again, see if they can do it on Sunday. I'm like, all right, fine. I reached out again. Then they were saying like, yeah, we can do it at that time. Cool. And then we went and did it the very next day. And I did exactly what he said. Just go and do it. Don't overthink it. Don't think like, oh, I don't have this equipment. I don't have these lights. Like, I don't have the people to work with. No one's helping me. I can't do it. I've had those thoughts a lot. And it resonated with me, his last message.
There's something magical about stripping everything away and seeing what you can do with nothing more than you, a camera, and your imagination.
If you watch something like this and it doesn't energize you or doesn't invigorate you to want to do it, I don't know what would, honestly. Like, I don't know what self-help guru could really motivate you besides this. I don't know. Just like when I watch stuff like this, that's why I always love movies about kind of like making movies, because it always makes me want to make a movie. And just like a show like this, where you're just watching this guy with his son go out and do it. I think you really should, and anybody watching should also, if you like this series, you got to watch the other series too. The one with the 5 filmmakers. That one's really interesting. It's a bit longer, so you get more as well, which is really cool.
Yeah, it's on my list to watch too.
I'll watch a show like this just to really, inspire you. That's I think that's why he kind of made something like this in the first place. Just because he said, when I made El Mariachi, I couldn't really do like a behind the scenes thing.
Right.
When I was able to do this, it was cool to be able to like, do a making of, and that's essentially what this is, him making his movie.
Like, he really like wants you to succeed too. He speaks in a way like, come on, you can do it. Just go for it. Trust yourself and do it.
Again, we kind of talked about this last time, the whole idea of like film school versus not film school. I would go say watch something like this and use this as a bit of a film school. I mean, there's a reason why in the title it's called the Robert Rodriguez Film School.
True.
I can see some people watching this criticizing and just being like, oh, but that's just so low budget. Like, I want to make big movies. And I mean, sure, if you're, set your sights high, obviously, but you got to be realistic at the same time. It's because, for us 10 years ago or 12 years ago when we started, it still was pretty much like, you had YouTube, but YouTube was still kind of young, so you didn't
Limited
learn
too.
that much on there. And, you know, it was still about the traditional make a movie, put it in theaters, still trying to go like the Hollywood system and, you know, move out to
Mhm.
LA or the big city to get
Right.
discovered. And I mean, you don't have to live in a big city now. You don't have to live in Los Angeles to get discovered.
No.
Just because of how vast the internet's become and social media, you can get discovered all sorts of
By
different
anything.
ways. David F. Sandberg, who did Lights Out, he did the short film, which kickstarted his career.
Yeah.
He made that for an online like festival, which didn't even win, but it was like the most popular one, and then it blew up online from there. So he's
Yeah.
become kind of like a big inspiration for a lot of people. The
Mhm.
idea of like, you know, here's this guy from like Sweden or Denmark or something,
Something like that.
had never even been to like the United States before. And like months later, here he is getting toured around Warner Brothers, and now he's making a
Yeah.
feature film. So there's, you know, I mean, stories like that. Obviously, not everybody, you know, is going to succeed that is trying that. But you know, these should be
True.
the El Mariachis, the Lights Out. These should be the
Mhm.
stories that do give you hope to be like, you know, maybe I don't need to move to LA tomorrow and work
Yeah.
my way up as a PA. I will say this. Anybody that's watching this is going to be my final note. If you want to make movies, if you want to say, hey, I want to be a writer, director, don't move to Los Angeles and take PA jobs thinking that that's how you're going to get your way up there. That's not how you get your way up there. If you want to be a writer and director, make stuff.
I agree 100%. You and I have done PA jobs for the longest. Sure, you meet some connections here and there, but you don't progress in your own passion. Do your own thing, your own pace, however you can.
Chris and I don't know a lot about this business, but we know some things. We've been through the ringer
Been
on certain
around.
things. So take it for what you want. We're just two salty old men sitting here talking on Zoom about a TV
Making
show,
movies.
but making movies. But that's it. That's Rebel Without a Crew, the Robert Rodriguez Film School. For anybody that's watching, I hope you enjoyed it. I definitely enjoyed watching it. If you haven't seen it, I'd still recommend it. You can watch it on Freevee or Tubi. I recommend Tubi just because less ads.
Yeah.
And then I really recommend, if you enjoyed that series, watch Rebel Without a Crew, the series, which is basically the other one. Not next episode, but our following episode, we will be watching Red 11, which is the feature film
Mhm.
that they made in this series. So we'll be checking that out, talking about it, giving some thoughts about, you know, how the movie turned out compared to what you saw. I'm really looking forward to it.
And again, just so everyone knows, next week we are doing Sucker Punch thanks to the contributor Johnny Cup Print. Moving on.
It's a wrap on the Robert Rodriguez Film School.
That's a wrap.